next time, as always, peace out. Go Blazers.
Step back, call game like Dame. Now they all know our name. Crossover, then go straight to the hezzy. I'm a dunker like Denny. Small market, yeah, we making it big. Now we got too many cameras. Clinging on guards like Drew. You can't even move, ain't nobody stopping us. Rip City turn, we making some noise. Pass to the present, we getting like Roy. More to be rockin', we bringing the force. Gang with a dime, that's a bucket, of course. If straight and by the dunk, you gotta move. Young and still hustling like Scoop. Come and tap in, see what's new. Blazers Uprise on the crew.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Blazers Uprise post-game show presented by our new sponsor, Prize Picks. Today, the Portland Trail Blazers had a lot happen. We had a Tom Dundon press conference, and then we had the Blazers go out and look a little bit rough as they took on the Pelicans. They looked a little bit rough, got down by double digits, came back, and won this basketball game. They pulled away in the second half. They win 118-106. A very important win for the Blazers as they chase that 8th seed. And with the Clippers trailing late against the San Antonio Spurs, it looks like they're going to lose. It looks like the Blazers, here in minutes, will be back in 8th place in the Western Conference and now make it that much more likely that the Blazers-Clippers game on April 10th at home, the second to last game of the regular season, will likely be for that 8th seed. As long as the Blazers keep taking care of business, maybe still a win against a couple tough opponents coming up. We're going to talk about the standings, of course. We're going to talk about the Tom Dundon press conference, and we're going to break down this game. Eric, what's going on, man? How are you doing? This was a stressful game for a little bit, but then Blazers pulled away, so happy about that.
Yeah, early on, it seemed like this might have the makings of a trap game with the next three all being against good teams with the Spurs, Nuggets, and Clippers game you mentioned. So I was a little worried that the Blazers, not that they didn't realize it, but it would be very easy to just look at New Orleans and, take your foot off the gas. But they've been playing hard these last couple months and have no reason to tank. Played most of their guys tonight, so this is a game that definitely had the makings of a game the Blazers could have blown. So it was good to see them come out in the second half and kind of take control of this game and just get that win, because that's all that matters right now is stacking these wins.
Absolutely. This was one of those games where in the past it felt like, oh, this could be a Blazers letdown. The Blazers down double digits in the first half. Didn't look too great. This is a Pelicans team that was injured to start the year, but they're certainly not tanking despite being a clear lottery team. And the reason why that is, of course, is because they're not actually in the lottery. They don't have their pick. They traded it for Derek Queen, who had some moments tonight, but still very questionable trade. So this is not a Pelicans team trying to lose, and this team has been around 500 second half of the season. They've won a lot of games, actually, because they've been healthier. Zion Williamson has been playing. We saw him tonight. They got Trey Murphy, who's a good piece. Jeremiah Fears, although inconsistent, has some good moments, and he had a very efficient 21 off the bench for this Pelicans team. I don't quantify this Pelicans team as a bottom feeder like a lot of the opponents the Blazers have played lately. They're not Indiana, who's trying to tank to keep a top 4 protected pick. They're not Utah. They're not Brooklyn. And while they are a non-playoff team that the Blazers should have beat, this is one of those games where I kind of understood, hey, this game might be a little bit tricky. The Blazers got a huge win on the road. Now they're coming back home. Maybe a little bit of a trap game against a team that isn't as bad as maybe some people think. And it looked that way early on. Happy that they were able to pull things together there in the second half behind, who else? Drew Holiday, who made some insanely tough threes. That dude is a phenomenal basketball player. He's playing phenomenal basketball the past month or so. Had a little bit of a scoring lull there for a couple games. Well, guess what? He's back. He's scoring the ball at an elite level right now, hitting some very, very tough shots. Had a good playmaking game today. He was awesome. Tamani Kamara hit a ton of threes. He was awesome. Denny Avdia got to the line a lot, especially in the second half, doing what Denny does after a slightly inefficient start. Those guys stepping up. And the Blazers getting what is a huge win. I'm looking forward to looking at the standings once this Clippers game is final.
It just officially went final. They lose by 19 to the Spurs without Wemby and at home. And Blazers all alone in 8th place.
You know what that means? We get to do a tankathon sim because we're not in it. Love that. But yeah, chat, hopefully you guys are having a good night. Hopefully you enjoyed this basketball game. Lots to cover in this post-game show. Looking forward to talking about the Tom Dundon press conference because a lot of people have a lot of different thoughts on this new ownership group and especially Tom Dundon. So we're going to get into that. But we're going to save that for after the post-game recap. We got a lot to break down here. Where do you want to start, Eric? Do you want to start with how they got down? Do you want to start with how they came back? As always, the floor is yours.
Let's talk about the second half where they started playing better. They just came out of this in the second half and played so well in that third quarter. Really shut the Pelicans down, holding them to 16 points in the quarter, and really kind of flipped the game around from one that you were really worried about. And I know the Pelicans cut it to 106, 103 at one point. So it was like, oh man, are they going to blow this? But then the Blazers only allowed them to score 3 points the rest of the game. Drew Holiday, man, 10 of 22 is, okay shooting wise, but just his ability to hit big shots lately has been unreal. Those step back threes, and it just seems to make a play whenever we need it, and that's been awesome.
Yeah, been absolutely awesome. He had some moments there about a month ago where he was very turnover prone, and it was very frustrating. He's still a little bit sloppier with the ball than I'd like at times. But today, 4 turnovers, 9 assists, though. Greater than 2-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio. That's good playmaking right there. Plus 14. 10 for 22, but 7 for 15 from 3. A lot of those tough threes, those tough step backs that he has hit pretty regularly as of late. And just nice to have a vet in this moment because this is... Games like this, I feel like in the past, without a Drew Holiday type of veteran the last couple of years, the Blazers would have wilted away and lost at the end. But Drew, against the Clippers and against the Pelicans down the stretch of these games, has been such a steadying force as an offensive player. Under control, making shots, making plays, and it's why the Blazers valued him despite his age, despite his contract. A lot of people think, oh, you bring him in for defensive purposes, but offensively, he's been such a calming and steadying force down the stretch of these past 2 games. And this is exactly what you'd expect from a guard with championship experience who's been in the league for, 16, 17 years now? He's a veteran, and he's calm, cool, collected in these moments. And it's nice to see the team kind of follow suit in a way because this is something that they've struggled with. Close games, crunch time, offensive execution. Still turning over the ball a little bit more than I would like. They finished with 16 turnovers in this game. That is below their average. That's still a couple more than I would like. The Blazers set a pretty low standard there in terms of taking care of the ball. But I thought this game, especially against a young, athletic Pelicans team, you got some athletes out there. The last thing you wanted to do was let them play in transition. They had 19 fast break points, but you gave up some points off turnovers, 24 points off turnovers off 16 turnovers. The Pelicans converted those well, but that's why it was important to take care of the ball and not turn over the ball 20, 21, 22 times like we've seen this team do in games prior because, like I've said, turnovers are the way to let a worse team stay in the game. Of course, you're not getting a shot off, and a lot of teams can turn that into easy offense. So not only are you not scoring the ball, you're giving the opposing team good chances to go the other way and score themselves. So the Blazers turn them over 19 times. They win the turnover battle. I think that's a key for them. So was happy with the offensive execution down the stretch. The ball movement in the second half was better than it was in the first half. And yeah, there were some possessions where the ball wasn't moving. It was just Drew Holiday going to work, but that's why it's nice to have a guy like Drew Holiday.
Yeah, not only Drew, Rob Will and Matisse off the bench tonight played some huge minutes. And both of them were in the clutch in this game, and both of them made plays all game. Rob was really good on the defensive end. and of course had a couple lobs. And Matisse makes 3 threes and just man, he was all over the place in this game. So just the ability to put that veteran lineup. I know Denny's still 25 or something like that, but he's a veteran at this point too, and Tamani kind of plays like a veteran. So we have a pretty experienced group that we can throw out there at times, play our veteran lineup, and that it's just a nice luxury to have at times, especially when you're still not getting a lot from like guys like City Sissoko and stuff like that. So it's nice to have at least a lineup you can depend on to throw out there at the end of games.
Yeah, so this team's been playing better defense as of late. Did not look like that in the first half. Gave up 65 points. Of course, as a Pelicans team where they were missing a bunch of good players and torched the Blazers earlier in the season. How many points did they score in that game? It was something around 140. And it was without Zion. It was with, I think Trey Murphy played in that game. But this is a Pelicans team that's been shorthanded and absolutely torched this Blazers defense. And kind of looked like that at times in the first half. 65 points, not good to give up. The third quarter, the Blazers only give up 16 points. It's what turned around this game, the defensive side of the basketball, where the Blazers have looked improved as of late. They give up 41 points in the second half. This is a team that, for the better part of the season, has been between 16th and 20th in terms of adjusted defensive rating. After this game, they are up to 12th. That's a one-spot improvement over last year. We can finally say the defense statistically is improved over last season if you just want to look at adjusted defensive rating. The offense is exactly the same. They're 23rd. But it's nice to see the defensive turnaround because that's what this team was supposed to hang their hat on. And even in a game where they didn't have it in the first half, they buckled down and won this game on the defensive side of the basketball, only giving up 41 points in the second half. So who really impressed you on that side of the ball? What impressed you on that side of the ball for them?
Like I said, Rob Will, I thought had a good game defensively. But I mean, did Tamani set the record for most charges taken in a game?
Most offensive fouls drawn, yeah.
Yeah. What do you have, 4 this game? Or is it more than that?
A lot.
Yeah, so that was awesome. He was really good on that end tonight. But yeah, overall, I think it was just, obviously giving up 60-plus points in the first half wasn't great, but you only gave up 41 in the second half, and it just seemed like the Blazers played a lot more connected. I don't think it was like one person other than, of course, Tamani's play was really good, but I felt like it was just a solid team defensive effort. I don't think it was one player other than Tamani that really was the difference. I think they were all just playing really good, solid defense together. And they were how many offensive rebounds did they get? Because it didn't feel like they got a ton. I know they got one off of like a timeout, off a free throw, I think.
Yeah, they got 12.
12? It didn't seem like that many. Maybe those were all in the first half, but felt like they did a pretty good job on the boards overall. I don't know what the team rebounding was though.
Was that effort to you? Was that just kind of like locking in on tendencies? What was it that shifted in this game? Because it looked much different that second half. Maybe Tiago at halftime. What was the key? What changed for them defensively, in your opinion?
I mean, it's hard to pinpoint one thing they did in this one. It really seemed like the Pelicans just kind of played really kind of, I don't know what the right word is, loose. They were loose in the second half, but not like in a necessarily good way. They were really I don't know. They took some really bad shots which helped, but the Blazers they haven't done a good job of it this year of being physical without fouling. But I feel like they just really were really strong and sturdy and just really solid in that second half. Just weren't allowing a lot of stuff, And there was some like Trey Murphy missed an alley-oop or didn't catch it right or something. But it's I don't know. I mean, like I said, there were some guys who came off the bench and had really good defensive effort, but it's not like they were getting to the basket a lot or anything like that. So I think the Blazers just doing a good job of keeping everyone in front of them. And besides a couple of lobs, that one and one on Klingon was pretty bad that Trey Murphy had. But for the most part, our wings, I thought, did a good job on the perimeter.
Yeah, I think something that we've seen the last couple of games is, there's a difference between being physical and being kind of like undisciplined and out of control. I feel like where this team has run into trouble is when they're physical and then they start reaching. Like start trying to poke the ball away. So you're already on the guy and now you're reaching across his body. You're leaning into him to reach. And they pick up a lot of fouls doing that, right? They get out of position doing that. And I feel like they've done a better job at just being disciplined and being in a good defensive position, being physical, but moving their feet. I think there's a lot to be said about just getting in a stance. You can get up into the ball, but the second the guy turns the corner, instead of sitting there trying to poke at it, reaching in, picking up fouls, guy comes to set a screen and just running into the offensive player because you're trying to be physical on the ball to get over the screen. There's a difference between that and, all right, guy starts to face up and try and turn the corner. You move your feet and you stay with them. And, yeah, there's a little bit of contact, but you're moving your feet. You're more likely, I think, to not get called for fouls when you're moving your feet and you're keeping your hands off guys. You're not poking, you're not reaching, you're not arm barring as much. And I think that's a key difference that we've seen in the last couple of games especially, but during this whole kind of defensive resurgence we've seen as of late, that I think is something that has been improved. And, it does two things. One, you're not going to pick up as many fouls, but also you're not going to get beat off the dribble as much if you're just locked down in a stance, moving your feet, staying in front of guys, making it tough on guys. You're not going to get a freight train to the rim as much, which collapses your defense. Then you have to rotate. Then teams get open threes. Then they get a rhythm, right? It's a domino effect from not being disciplined on the ball. So I thought, especially that second half, they forced some turnovers. They forced 19 turnovers. Some of that was the Pelicans being sloppy. Some of that was, just good defensive plays. Matisse Thybulle doing Matisse Thybulle things. He's been really good lately, but I think a lot of it's just being disciplined and moving their feet and not getting as handsy with guys. You can be physical without being handsy. And I think that's something they've really kind of picked up on lately.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the free throws, the Pelicans shot 26, so you would think they maybe didn't do as good of a job as it seemed at that regard, but only 17 fouls as a team for the Blazers, so take that. So
you know what that shows you? It wasn't a lot of dumb perimeter fouls.
Yeah, we didn't get them in the bonus and parade them to the line like we have done against some teams.
Yeah. Anything else to say on the defense? You want to jump into the offense here?
Let's jump into the offense.
All right, yeah. What were your thoughts? I'll say one thing. Second half, better job swinging the ball and attacking gaps. This offense is very reliant upon shifting the defense and then getting the ball to somebody with a gap to attack and attacking that gap and collapsing the defense, compared to one-on-one isolation. The defense is set and you're attacking a guy that's directly in front of you, which the Blazers at times can do, Denny can do. Drew had some really good moments like that in the second half. But I think when the Blazers build their rhythm, a lot of it's the ball's moving and then they're getting gaps to attack and they're, sprinting into the catch, sprinting into the gap, stampeding. Or just shifting the defense where they're able to get threes or attack closeouts, attack gaps, and it's much better offense just when the ball starts popping. And I think the second half, when they made that comeback there in the third quarter, I think you started to see more of that, and I think that's the key for this offense, especially the system they run, where it's not a lot of sets, not a lot of off-ball screens generating gaps just through the actions that you're running off the ball. A lot of the gaps are generated by the ball moving and shifting the defense, and the ball is faster than the defender, so if you can shift the defense over, swing it quickly, then you have some opportunities. So I think in the second half they did a better job of that. What'd you see?
Yeah, well, in the first half they were going towards their own bench, and that's where like Dundon and all the ownership group was sitting. And
You think they
I
were
found
nervous staring at Dundon?
well, no, I found myself wondering like what he was thinking. Like I was trying to get in the mind of Tom Dundon. Like what is he thinking while watching this team? And I was like, if I'm Tom, I am questioning why are we still last in 3-point shooting, or do we move to 29th?
I think we're 29th.
29th. Why one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the league is jacking up 25 plus 3-point shots and making like 8 of them in the first half, right? Like it just seemed like every possession we were just settling for 3 after 3 after 3 and just clanging them. And so like I just found myself wondering if he was like thinking the same thing. And at some point it's like, can someone please drive? I had that thought several times in the first half. I mean, other than Denny, it's like we just get these long stretches where we just settle for 3-point shots on every possession. And it's CD Sissoko shooting a couple. It's Tamani. He missed 2 wide open ones, and then luckily hits the third one, and then ends up having a good game overall. But like he stood there for like 5 seconds with the ball before he shot one of them, and yeah. So
you had Chris Murray shooting a transition 3. I don't know.
Yeah.
Listen, man, this dude is data driven. Like he's smart. The math on a 27% 3-point shooter shooting a transition 3. I don't care how open it is. It's a ridiculous shot. It's a ridiculous freaking shot. Like that's the thing that pissed me off most about this game is that dude shooting a transition 3. Teams will leave him. You can get a wide open 3 at any point in the shot clock in the half court. Like that should not be something you settle for early in the clock. So yeah, I agree with where you're going with this.
But yeah, that just leads me to like why are we shooting that shot, and why is it like we have 4 games left in the season and we still can't get a better shot than that for Chris Murray, who cannot hit a 3 to save his life. So yeah, it's I thought in the second half, Denny had some stretches where he got to the rim. Drew got to the rim a couple times. Found Rob Will on a lob. Denny had a nice pass to him. I felt like the threes. I mean, how many did we end up shooting in the game? We shot. Oh, why is this box in my way? 51 threes. We ended up making 20, so it shot much better in the second half. So that, of course, helps too. Just shooting a better percentage in a half. But I don't know. I felt like the Blazers were getting slightly better shots in the second half, and they seemed a little more patient and not just settling for the first 3 that became available.
Yeah. Shout out to Tyler Smith with a $10 donation. Thank you, Tyler. Says, was anyone as scared as me when Denny went down holding his leg? I had to walk out of the room. Thank God that man is fine. It was worrisome. It did not look good. It looked like a non-contact injury where he crumples to the floor and he's holding his knee. As Blazer fans, we know that feeling. We've seen that type of stuff here. We haven't had the best injury luck. So it was very happy that he was fine. It was kind of a weird play. He thought he got fouled. I don't think he got fouled at all. But yeah, thankfully he's okay, because what a damper that would be. You get into 8th, you have a real chance at 8th. Don't want anybody to get
one more injury, right?
Yeah, especially to our all-star. So yeah, thankfully he's okay. But yeah, that was scary for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I wasn't at the point where I left the room, but yeah, I was like, oh man, please, just not another injury. And maybe later we can talk about this. It's still the way they're handling their injuries hopefully improves under Tom Dundon, because it's driving me crazy how players go from questionable to doubtful to out. It's crazy, but Yeah, Denny had some really good moments driving the ball in this one. Actually made multiple threes in a game. I can't
Love it.
think of too many games recently where he's hit more than 1 3, so that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't. We saw Sharp warming up before the game. Maybe he comes back at some point. A lot of people just kind of assumed he'd be out for the season with that injury and how late in the season it was. But who knows with the Blazers at this point?
Let's address that topic real quick. So he hasn't played in a really long time. How would you handle him coming back? Like, you don't start him, right? I mean, Jeremy's not healthy. But honestly, this team the past couple of games has played pretty well without Jeremy. So like, how would you handle Shea? I mean, he's probably on a minutes restriction, I would assume. But like, would you start him? Would you bring him off the bench just because, it's tough to come back for the biggest game of your career off an injury like that after missing as much time as he has? Like, how would you address that? What do you think is the best way?
I probably bring him off the bench. I'm assuming he's going to be on like a 20 to 25-minute restriction, if not less. So we've had some rough lineups at time with that second unit, just not. I mean, I talked about Rodwell and Matisse and stuff, but when they're out there with Chris Murray and there's not
they
a lot
had a
of
lineup today where they had Denny, Chris Murray, City Sissoko, Matisse Thybulle, and Klingon. And Thybulle's been playing good, but like Thybulle being in a lineup with no point guard, and then you also have your big who's not shooting well. Yeah, your big who's not shooting well, and then two guys that are non-shooters right now on the wings. They ran that lineup for a little bit. It didn't really hurt them, but it was a really confusing lineup. It made absolutely no sense. And that's something that Thiago struggled with, is like mixing and matching the right skill sets in certain lineup combinations.
Yeah, but that is a product of just having guys like Grant and Sharp out for so long, and even V, people can get buckets. So I would bring Sharp off the bench and just play him in lineups like that. Maybe not being the first option, just kind of have him as more of a secondary option. And I think that's fine for what he needs, but we don't need to like force anything. But obviously if he's having a good game, you can maybe increase his role a little bit, but I wouldn't put too much on him and just hope he can provide a little bit of scoring punch off the bench, because I still think we need that with those lineups we're rolling out right now.
Yeah, I think I don't know if Shaedon Sharpe, fresh off an injury, playing a lot is what's best for this team to win. I think him playing like the Sissoko minutes, absolutely. He's a better player than the Sissoko. I'd probably take Sharpe with one leg over City Sissoko. So like there's minutes that will absolutely and should absolutely go to Sharpe. And he will be on some minutes restriction. I just don't know, he's going to be rusty, and if he's not trusting himself 100% physically, where he's playing super athletic, and there's rust to knock off, I don't know. There could be a situation where, he just has rough games, and I wouldn't even blame him for it. It's a tough situation to come off an injury like that at the end of the season and try and knock off the rust in a play-in game or whatever it would be. So I think it's going to be something tricky for Thiago to handle, because you absolutely play him, but I think the minutes restriction will actually make that decision a little bit easier. And the same thing with Jeremy Grant as well, if he ever gets back, because shout out to Helicon in the chat. He says, Blazers are 13-8 without Grant. Grant hasn't been bad this year, but I feel like the intensity in the rebounding is better without him on the floor.
Yeah, a little bit. I understand the record is going to look good in certain situations, but we also have to factor in we've had a lot of easy games lately too. It's not like he's missed a lot of really tough opponents, at least this last stretch of injuries. So I don't know how much you can read into like a record without him, because I do think, as we just talked about, we do need a little bit of firepower off the bench still. So
Yeah, for
hopefully,
sure. For sure.
I don't think him being out is like the reason we're winning games. I do
Yeah.
get what you're saying though, like a little bit of better off the boards without him.
Yeah, there's context that needs to go into there's context that needs to go into that record without him. And you provided it, right? They've played easier teams. It's a small sample. At the same time, I don't know if him being out there really helps this team play the style of basketball that they want to play. Like, he's not really much of a ball mover, not much of a playmaker. He can certainly score, and this team needs scoring, so that's why I don't think they're better without him. But at the same time, like, the rebounding is an issue with him, and has been an issue for the Blazers all year. So it's kind of an interesting conundrum where if they... I don't think Grant will return, calf thing. I honestly, at this point, I don't feel like Krejci will return either. We see how these calf things go. They take a long time. But it will be an interesting wrinkle with Sharp, I think, because it does feel like he's close. So...
Oh, you never know with the Blazers.
You never know with the Blazers, but...
Close could be a month away, yeah.
I don't know. I'm always the one saying it doesn't feel like anybody's ever close with this team, so we'll see. But, yeah, let's take a look at... We'll take a look at Tankathon, then we'll take a look at the standings. Then we'll take a look at the games coming up, and then we'll give our shout out to Prize Picks, our brand new beautiful sponsor, and then we'll talk about the players from this game. Then we'll talk about Tom Dundon's press conference. That's what we have lined up here for the rest of the show.
Luka got hurt tonight too. Could impact the seeding moving forward too.
Yeah, hate to see that.
Probably not for the Blazers, but
yeah, hate to see that. He's been playing great. Yeah, I mean they're locked into 3 through 6 there. Man, it's a little too late. I'm just looking at something. It's just a little too late. I'll tell you what that is. But first, we got Tankathon. Look at the Blazers losing their pick. Beautiful, 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 beautiful.
it's beautiful to lose our pick.
It's beautiful to make the playoffs, right? You know, that's what we've been trying to do. Well, I mean, we haven't been trying to do it for 5 years, but it's been a long time. It's been 5 years. I have no idea what this new Big Board college matchup page is. Interesting. Yeah, we got the Final Four coming up. But anyway, we get to do a fun Tankathon sim because we're not in it. Oh, I didn't simulate it. I'm rusty. Shout out to the rest. I'm not going to shout out the teams until one moves up. The tough thing would be like beating the Clippers for the 8th seed, beating them for the play-in, and then the OKC pick moves up. Would not be good. Would be very bad. Oh, the Pelicans pick moves up, and the Pacers lose their pick, and the Hawks get the 3rd overall pick, Washington 2nd, Dallas 1st. I'd be so annoyed if Dallas got another number 1 overall pick. Even if they get a top 3 pick, I'll be annoyed if they're up there. Because you got a lot of Eastern bottom feeders, Washington, Atlanta, Brooklyn, Indiana if they're top 4. And then like if Sacramento or Utah get a top 4 pick, I don't really care. They're, Utah would be an interesting situation because they kind of have their 5-man starting lineup locked in next year, it feels like. Maybe they could use a 5th starter, but they have Ace Bailey who's playing good basketball as of late. Sacramento's starting a rebuild. So yeah, that's interesting. But I'm looking at this like, damn, we're like 2 games too late. Or 1 game too late. If we could have just... One of the losses against Phoenix, if we could have won, we'd be half a game back of them right now. And we'd have the tiebreaker.
We'll just beat the Mavericks last Friday.
Yeah, but still, like that's... Because they have the tiebreaker. That's the thing. So if they win 1 more game, the Blazers would have to win out. The magic number for the Suns is 2. So if the Suns win a game, the Blazers lose a game, they clinch that 7th seed. So it's not mathematically impossible, but with the Blazers playing the Nuggets and then the Spurs, like it's not a realistic thing. And they got games like at Chicago versus Dallas. Houston, Los Angeles, OKC. I don't know. Like, if they lose against Chicago and the Blazers can beat, who they have next, Denver or San Antonio, then maybe that door's open. But it's 2.5 games back. We've almost caught up to the Suns. This is like last year where we were like behind the Suns and then we tied with them at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Where we caught up to them. And it was a bad thing because we were supposed to be tanking. It's very similar. Because, imagine a 7-8 play-in game against that team at home. They just got blown out by the Hornets. They lost to the Magic. They had a 5-game losing streak. They've had some injury issues. They're healthier now, but they're beatable, which is really why I want this 8th seed. I think the Blazers can absolutely go into Phoenix and beat the Phoenix Suns.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be beautiful to watch. I didn't even realize we're 8-2 in our last 10. Yeah, 40 and 38. Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. But
should be 9-1.
Should be 9-1. Yeah, one of those losses against the freaking Mavericks. Disgusting. If we were 9-1, we'd be a game and a half up on the Clippers. And then you're getting into this territory of like, we could lose to them in game 81 and still maybe get the 8th seed. The way it shakes out, the Clippers lost today. It is very likely going to come down to that game. I think there's like a 90% chance it comes down to that game. Because while the Blazers are half a game up, if they're a game up and lose to the Clippers and then are tied with them, the Clippers will have the tiebreaker. If the Blazers beat the Clippers, the Blazers will have the tiebreaker. So if they're tied going into it, the Blazers lose to the Clippers, they're 1 game back without the tiebreaker, the Clippers literally clinch. If the Blazers win that game to go a game up on the Clippers, the Blazers will have the tiebreaker and literally clinch. So if they're tied going into that game, it's literally a play-in game for the play-in, essentially, effectively. Now, if the Blazers are a game back, then they win that game, they're tied, and then the last game is against the Sacramento Kings. You would think the Blazers take care of business. So as long as the Blazers are not multiple games back going into that game, then that game, if the Blazers win, they'll, I think, effectively get the 8th seed, is how I look at this. The Clippers just lost. The Clippers have a couple of easy games coming up. They got the Kings and they got the Mavs. But then they play OKC before they get to us. So let's say they go 2-1. The Blazers can lose their next 2 games and they're a game back and still are in a position where they beat the Clippers in game 81 and they have the tiebreaker and they're tied with them and their last game is against Sacramento. So essentially, as long as the Clippers don't win their next 3 games and the Blazers lose their next 2, the Blazers will be in great position to, that game will essentially be for the 8th seed for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, the only problem is the Blazers' next 2 games aren't exactly easy.
Yeah, but also the Clippers have to play the Thunder. The Clippers have to play the Thunder. Wemby didn't play today. I think he was resting, right? So yeah, like the schedule doesn't look particularly great, but this is why the Clippers losing tonight against the Spurs was so important. Because now, essentially, they have to win their next 3 games and beat OKC for this game to be like out of Portland's reach.
I mean, bottom line, we're back to controlling our own destiny. We weren't there for a while. But yeah, I don't know. We went out. We might have a chance at 7, but went out. We for sure have the 8th.
Yeah, I mean, not likely, but they do have 3 days off before going to Denver. You never know. Some of these teams where it's like they don't really care about the difference between a couple of C's. Like maybe they rest somebody. Is that a back-to-back for them? No, it is.
Well, isn't Monday the championship game? I thought NBA didn't play on that night.
Normally they don't, but
it's kind of weird.
Yeah, kind of annoying.
So the Spurs, I mean, they still have 5 games. Same with the Thunder. So the Spurs still have a shot at the 1 seed. I mean, they've been playing awesome the last couple months. Like, they've been incredible. Yeah. But with Luka going down tonight, the Nuggets are just a game back of the Lakers. So that's tough, man. I don't know how much they care about getting the – I'm assuming the Nuggets want to avoid the Thunder as long as possible. But if Thunder fell to 2, it wouldn't matter. But – so at this point, you just got to think the Nuggets are going for the 3 seed, and they have a good shot at it. So that game, I'm assuming they're going to be playing everyone on Monday.
Yeah. Alrighty. Anything else you want to talk about the standings picture for?
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of sucks that our next 3 games are against all teams that still have something to play for. I was really hoping that at this point the Nuggets and Spurs would get lucky with that. And who knows, maybe they don't play Wemby in that game too. But I mean, if they're winning without him, what does it matter? We did lose at home with the chance to win our group for the play-in without Wemby, but yeah, I don't know. What is your level of faith that the Blazers will win the next 2 games to basically put themselves in the driver's seat for that?
Win both of the next 2 games?
Yeah, you think they're going to split them?
I'm not confident they're going to win the next 2 games, but if they win, well, if they split and the Clippers go 2-1, that game still against the Clippers, if the Clippers win, they're still very likely to have 8th because they would have to lose the last game of the regular season. So I think it's very unlikely that game doesn't matter for both teams. Like, the Blazers would have to split and the Clippers go 1-2 and lose a game against the Kings, or what's the other team they play? The Mavs. Or the Blazers would have to beat both the Spurs and the Nuggets, and then the Clippers would go 2-1, and the Blazers would be in the driver's seat. I don't think the Blazers are going 2-0, and I don't think the Clippers are going to lose to the Kings or the Mavericks. Let me actually make sure it's the Mavericks. I forget. Yeah, it's the Kings and the Mavs. So, here's the thing, though. Like, things can change fast. The Blazers lost to the Mavs and they have won 8 out of their last 10. This Clippers team could lose to the Mavs. We could be talking about the Clippers lose to the Mavs and the Blazers get an upset win against a Spurs or Nuggets team that maybe rests a good player or 2. And we could be talking about that game against the Clippers being like, okay, if we win, we clinch, but if we lose, we're still probably fine because we just have to beat the Kings. There is that possibility. I just don't think it's likely. I think it's, like I said, I think there's a 90% chance that the winner of that game against the Clippers on April 10th gets the 8th seed. Like, that game will be for the 8th seed, barring something completely unforeseen. But I love it. I love that this team has a chance to put themselves in a really good position to make the playoffs. Earlier in the season, we were talking about our race with the Golden State Warriors, and thank goodness we have the tiebreaker. We are 3.5 games ahead of the Golden State Warriors for 10th right now. Like, that's out. We don't have to worry about that. That's out the window. That is completely out the window.
Yeah, we have a tiebreaker.
Yeah. Literally, they lose one more game and we win one more game, which we played the Kings on last night of the season. Like, we better win one more game, right?
Hopefully.
Like, they have to win out and we have to lose out for them to pass us. So, like, that's out the window. That's not the conversation anymore. But this is why, like, losing against the Bulls earlier in the season on that buzzer beater, man, and losing against, and I said this earlier in the season, like, there's a couple of losses the Blazers should not have lost. where they royally screwed up in final seconds. And I said, we'll be looking at the end of the season like, man, that game, if we had just won that game, make all the difference in the world. And right now, you look at the standings picture, it would make all the difference in the world. If we didn't choke that Bulls game, we'd be talking about, oh man, as long as the Thunder beat the Clippers, we can lose against the Clippers on April 10th and still be in the 8th seed. That literally would be the conversation. I think. Yeah, something like that. That's why every game's super important. All season long. Anyway.
Yeah. So can't believe there's only 4 games left.
I know. This season went by super fast.
Nice 3-day weekend for the Blazers, though.
I know. It's nice for them to get some
I'm
rest.
loving it.
Absolutely. Let's talk about a couple of players first here. Drew Holiday, we talked a lot about him, but what really impressed you today?
It's just his ability to make big shots and just I don't know. He's at times it's kind of been frustrating this season the way he just plays at his own pace, but you can see now that we're getting into more. Not that today was like a playoff type atmosphere, but now that we're getting into more of these moments where there's a lot of pressure to get the job done and to finish this off, just his ability to it just seemed like at any time we needed him to, he just makes a big play the last couple games. And that step back jumper, man, has been money. And it just continues to hit big shots when we need him to. And it's kind of cool to see that in someone other than, I guess Anthony hit some clutch shots over the past couple of years, but I mean we're used to seeing it with Dame, but we really haven't had a guy who just like can get us a bucket at the end, and I don't know, he's just making plays when we need him to, and that's all we can really say about it.
Yep, love the assists, love the scoring, love the shot making, man. You know, I've said pretty much everything I wanted to say. I just will reiterate the calming sense down the stretch of the game against the Clippers and this game where things are looking a little hairy, so to say. Things are looking a little sketchy. You know, the Clippers looked like they were going to fight their way back into that game, and then the Pelicans, this game was close. This was a 3-point game with a few minutes to go, and just somebody you can give the ball to and comes through in those moments. The Blazers haven't really had that, you know. Of course, they always had it with Dame, and Dame was truly special in that way. This is the closest thing they've had to that in terms of just being able to give somebody the ball in crunch time. They're going to go deliver for you. You can trust them to make a play. So shout out to Drew Holiday. He's been phenomenal. What did you think of Denny today? He was 7 for 20 from the field, so not efficient, but 10 for 13 from the free throw line to try and make up for that a little bit. He had 26 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists with 3 turnovers, so better than 2-to-1 assist turnover ratio there. Had some good moments down the stretch. You know, so like it wasn't the most efficient game from the field, but he did get to the line to make up for that. Rebound the ball well, made some plays. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, one of the best parts, I mean, it didn't really help us in the first half because we still gave up a ton of points, but he basically got Zion in foul trouble, was really frustrating Zion by taking it right at him. And so I thought that was huge in this game. I don't think Zion ended up, he might have finished with 4 fouls, so I don't think it really mattered that much at the end, but just having to have him play in foul trouble for part of this game, I think was big in letting Portland come back into it. And yeah, just I thought he had some really good moments driving the ball. It's weird. It's almost like he can't do it for a full game like he was earlier in the season because of his back. But he just has these stretches where he'll make like 2 or 3 good plays in a row. Like tonight, he had the lob to Rob Will, and then he followed that up with the driving layup. And he's still getting to the line. And once again, got to shout out. There was a couple times where he thought he got fouled, and instead of turning to the refs, he just got up and ran back on defense. And that's awesome, man. I can't believe he fixed that so quickly. And who knows how he'll react in like a play-in or a playoff situation. But got to give him props for realizing that he was taking himself out of games, and now that's 3 straight games where it hasn't been an issue. So, yeah, just I thought he was pretty good despite the shooting splits.
Yeah, I think something absolutely had to have been said. There's no way he just
for sure.
There's no way he just randomly, made a change after what we panned as his worst game in terms of complaining. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, if you watched any of that film back, it had to have been embarrassing the way he was acting in that game.
I wonder if they showed him, man. Like, this is what you're looking like out here. It's not the best look.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I would have if I was the coach. I would have. I was just like, dude, like look at your face right here, turning to the ref while they go down and score on the other end.
Yeah. True. Anyway, before we get to more players, I want to give a huge shout out to our brand new sponsor, that is Prize Picks. Me and Eric watch a ton of sports. I'm into baseball. I'm a huge baseball fan this year. Big time Mariner fan. I'm getting into learning about the players, knowing about all the teams in a way that I haven't done before. Of course, you guys know I'm a basketball nerd as well. We're both Niner fans over here. Apologies to all you Seahawks fans. I mean, I even watch some NASCAR. All right, I'm into a lot of different sports, and Prize Picks is here to make your sports experience exciting. Because it's super simple. All you have to do, go onto their app and just pick more or less on some stats. Something that I've had friends do a lot with Prize Picks is hammer the Klingen double-double. 10 plus points, 10 plus rebounds. Now, the past couple of games, that has not looked particularly good. He has not hit double digits in either of those categories, but he was on an absolute roll there for a stretch where he was getting double-double after double-double. And I know a lot of people that were taking advantage of that. So whether it's football that you're into, basketball, another sport, Prize Picks gives you a fun way to stay locked in on every play while you're watching. So we're going to do a lot of fun stuff. We're going to have a social feed that you guys can follow our picks. We're going to integrate this into live streams, make some picks, build some lineups, especially during the NBA playoffs. I'm really looking forward to that. Testing our ball knowledge. And you guys, of course, will be able to give your feedback live on what we put together if you think we're right or wrong, like you guys always do. So if you want to check out Prize Picks, check out the link in the description box below. Use code HMA. New users get $50 in lineups when they play $5 by using that link in the description and by using code HMA. And you can test your knowledge. Shout out to Prize Picks for being our beautiful brand new sponsor. Looking forward to doing some fun stuff with them. And speaking of fun stuff, Eric, Tamani Kamara, was he fun tonight? A little frustrating to start, and then he starts making every threes. I like the Tamani Kamara that makes a bunch of threes.
Yeah, I mean, between the threes and the defensive fouls drawn, or offensive fouls drawn, I guess I should say, great game from him, and I'll take 6 threes and 4 drawn charges. So that's pretty good, right?
Yeah, I was mid Powerade sip, but yeah, very good.
6. I can't believe he shot 12 threes. it's been a little.
You know what's funny is like he's the 4th Blazer ever to make 200 threes. I was like, damn, he's shooting that many. You know, that's the thing. Him making 200 threes this year, unfortunately, is not like, man, he's shooting the ball so well. He made 200 threes. That's super cool. Him making 200 threes is like, wow, he's shooting a ton. Because on the season, he's 36%. Like, that's cool. That's cool. You know, and Dame had some years where he was like between 36 and 39%, but Dame made insanely tough threes. He was shooting deep threes. He was shooting insane volume, and it was very justified. It bended defenses. You know, he's one of the greatest shooters ever. Meanwhile, it's like Toumani Camara has had some awful rough stretches this season, but he keeps chucking them up. The one thing Toumani might be most consistent at is it doesn't matter if he's making or missing threes. It doesn't matter if he's shooting confidently or not. He's going to shoot that thing, and that's why he has made 200 threes so far this season. So, congrats. I don't know. It's like a little backhand. Like, you shoot a ton, and you're good enough, I guess, to shoot as much as you do, but sometimes there's stretches where it's like, maybe you should chill out a little bit. Tonight, not one of those stretches, 6 for 12.
Yeah, I mean, 12 threes is crazy, though, for like a role player, but I mean, we don't have a lot of scoring punch, so I guess it's something we are going to have to just live with and rely on.
This offense is completely different when he makes threes.
Yeah.
It's completely different when he makes threes. I still wish he would shoot a little bit less and cut a little bit more. I'm going to talk about a play.
Yeah.
From somebody else in this game, and I'm gonna relate it to Chris Murray and Toumani Camara.
He's had a few offensive rebounds lately, but that putback dunk was nice off the offensive rebound. But yeah.
I actually got that one compared to the one against the Clippers where he tried to dunk that thing so hard, man. We didn't talk about that last stream. That's one of those plays where, yeah, you could probably just lay it in. I don't know. Do you have an issue with that play? Like, dude, just lay it in. Why are you trying to tomahawk so freaking hard in a close game that's super important?
Well, normally I wouldn't have an issue if it happened every once in a while, but he does seem to miss a large ratio of dunks when he tries to throw it down really hard. So I don't feel like he has a particularly high percentage on the hammer down dunks. I mean, obviously he made the one tonight, but it feels like he misses them more often. I had Robert Covington vibes against the Nuggets in Game 5 last game with him. So yeah, I did kind of feel like, dude, just take a little off that, and because he's always like throwing it off the back rim. It's not like he's like, I don't know. It just seems like is just like throwing it way too hard sometimes.
He was 2 for 5 from the corner today. We love the
40%.
Yeah, that's something he struggled with all season. So we like that. Let's talk about Scoot. We have not said a single word about Scoot in this post-game show. Maybe you did. I haven't. He plays only 20 minutes, which is as many minutes as Chris Murray. He was a minus 14, but he played solidly. He was 6 for 12 from the field, 2 for 4 from 3, had 3 assists, not a single turnover. But it's almost like he got punished because he was in during those stretches where the Blazers weren't playing so well. How much of that was due to him? How much of that was due to the guys around him? Because statistically, he had a solid game. The 3-point shot, 2 for 4. The 3-point shot lately looks good. He had that stretch where he was in a massive slump for 7 games where he was abysmal. But outside of that, he's been a reasonably good 3-point shooter this year. So what do you think of his game? And what do you think about him only playing 20 minutes? He wasn't in foul trouble, only 2 personal fouls. Do you have an issue with that? Do you blame him a little bit for the rough stretches? What are your thoughts?
I mean, he was 4 for 4, so I guess he was 2 for 8 the rest of the game and 0 for 2 from 3 because he made his first 2.
Well, how much of it was his minutes getting split up?
Yeah, I don't like the minutes thing, but at this point in the season, all I care about is winning games right now, so I'm not going to harp too bad on it.
Well, I'm asking this conversation in the context of actually winning games, not about development. You know, I've talked about his minutes in terms of, like, it's the best thing to develop him. But, yeah, at this point, it's about winning games. Should he be playing more than 20 minutes a game like this when he's playing solid?
I mean, 20 minutes is really low, especially since he wasn't in foul trouble tonight and didn't have turnover issues. So I don't even know, like, because I did think about this in the fourth quarter. Like Scoot's been on the bench a long time, but like, what we're gonna take Thybulle out or whatever because Thybulle was playing, and Klingon was on the bench too during that time. He only played 22 minutes tonight, which we talked about. But yeah, I thought tonight they just went with Thybulle, and I don't know if that's good to play Thybulle that much because who knows? But I guess when he's available, gotta play him as much as possible. But I don't know. I felt like tonight it wasn't. Thybulle was doing well enough to where it wasn't like, oh man, we really need Scoot back in this game. But that's not saying he did anything wrong in this game. It's just
give him Sissoko's minutes. They had a lineup, like I said, with no point guard, with Denny, Sissoko, Thybulle, Chris Murray, and Klingon. Like, why does Sissoko have to automatically play 9 minutes? It makes no sense to me. Like, it's very strange to me. Because Sissoko isn't doing anything lately. He's turning into Ryan Repair. Sissoko was a -8, 9 minutes. Like, Sissoko's not doing anything. He doesn't have to play. You don't have to automatically play a 9-man rotation. Like, you could give Scoot 29 minutes and Cindy Sissoko 0 instead of Scoot 20 and Cindy Sissoko 9. Here's Scoot's minutes after the, let's see here. At the end of the first half, he gets subbed out with 4:22 remaining. So sits the final 4:22 of the first half. Starts the second half in the third quarter. Gets subbed out 4 minutes and 6 seconds into the third quarter. Doesn't come back in until the start of the fourth quarter. And gets subbed out 2 minutes after the start of the fourth quarter. So he plays 6 minutes in the second half when he was good in the first half.
I don't even, because I wasn't thinking about it at the time. But like, why did he come right back out in the fourth quarter?
I don't know. Like, I understand playing Thybulle down the stretch, so I'm not saying Scoot should have finished this game. But like, why are you force feeding Sissoko minutes and Scoot has a good first half and then plays 6 minutes in the second half? And that's like, oh, he shot a little bit worse. Like, of course, because he sits final 4 minutes of the first half. He comes back in, only plays 4 minutes, sits 8 minutes, and then comes back in and only plays 2 minutes, and then sits the rest of the game. Like, it's so strange. It's always been a thing with Scoot, where their handling of his minutes in his playing time is so freaking weird. It's always been weird. When they were in development mode, they were super weird about it. Now that they're in win now mode, he has a good first half, and he's starting, and they're super weird about it. It's always been weird with Scoot, with the minutes that they give him. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't get it either, but yeah. I don't know. This was one of the few games I didn't really, I don't know if I really felt like he, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I didn't really feel like he didn't play a lot. Like, when you see that 20 minutes after the game, like, I wasn't thinking about it during the game.
I was thinking about it. I barely saw him in the second half.
Yeah. But now looking at it, it just seems weird.
Yeah. I don't get it. Like, believe it or not, I have no issue with Matisse Thybulle playing 31 minutes. I have no issue with Matisse Thybulle playing more minutes than Scoot Henderson in this game. That might surprise some of you. But I said last stream that the basketball that Matisse Thybulle is playing as of late is my favorite stretch of Matisse Thybulle basketball as a Blazer. He's been really, really good.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason he's getting 31 minutes.
Well, especially if he's going to hit the three at a 40% clip.
Yeah,
like,
and he was 3 for 8 today.
Yeah.
Hit some momentum threes. Only 1 turnover, had 2 assists, 5 boards. You're not really looking at him to do that. Has 2 steals. The defense has been better with him on the floor. It's statistically better with him on the floor. There's no denying that. He's still getting his steals, but he's not taking as many bad gambles.
Mm-hmm.
And that was always my issue with Matisse Thybulle's defense, is he takes a lot of bad gambles, he ends up out of position, and the defense collapses, and teams take advantage of it. It's always about picking his spots when to try and chase a passing lane and try and pick off a pass, chase a deflection, like not sitting guarding the ball and then somebody can just pump fake and he jumps out of position and then they blow by him. You know what I mean? Like, he's been much better lately. And that's why I have no issue with him playing 31 minutes in this game, because he was a plus 21 and he contributed mightily to this team being better with him on the floor in this game. As of late, the Blazers have been at their best with Matisse Thybulle on the floor. It's backed up statistically. Can't deny it. Right? Yeah. But, like, that's the thing is, people think I have agendas and I'll never give players credit if I don't like the way they play, blah, 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 blah. I just call what I see. And I see this team playing better when he's on the floor because he's knocking down threes. He's having a massive impact defensively. But also, even though he's a 40% three-point shooter this year, you know what he does when the ball gets trapped and then Clingan gets the ball in the short roll? You know what he does? He's standing in the corner. He freaking cuts and gets a layup. Clingan throws him a nice lob. He gets a layup. Chris Murray doesn't make that freaking cut enough. He sits there in the corner and misses 3 after 3 after 3 after 3 after 3. Tamani Kamara's been a bad three-point shooter from the corner this year, and even if he's shooting better, I want Tamani getting a freaking dunk or a lay-in over a 3.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, Thybulle makes that cut, though, and he's shooting the ball really, really well. So I'd understand if he sits in the corner and takes that 3. But, like, that play is there when they trap off the screen and hit Clingan in the short roll, and Clingan can make that pass. So I love that. It was his only 2-point attempt of the game. It was perfect.
Yeah. I agree, man. That's something that, I mean, we've been talking about this all season. That's why it's frustrating that we're still talking about it.
Yeah. Like, Thybulle is playing the best basketball of his career, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think the issue has been you don't have much shooting, and yeah, he's 40%er. I'm starting to believe the shot. A lot of them are just wide open, but at least he makes wide open shots. Chris Murray doesn't. I think the issue is, like, him, when you have him on the floor, he should be your 5th option offensively. Just like somebody that, all right, he gets an open 3, he can knock it down. And then he can occasionally make a cut, finish, and get a steal and go the other way. Like, your 5th option offensively. Fine. Completely fine. He's a defensive guy. But when he's on the floor with Sidi Sissoko and Chris Murray, it's like, oh, he's supposed to be your 3rd option offensively. He doesn't really have the ball skills to play that role. So I think some of the issue with him on this roster is, like, the construction of the rest of the roster, and part of the issue with the construction of this stream is that Eric gets collab cammed.
I'm back.
But he's back. Yeah. I've never been this nice about Matisse Thybulle. Weird times.
It's
We're
weird.
above 500. We're 40-38, and I'm saying a lot of nice things about Thybulle.
If we go 2-2, we finish over 500.
Yeah.
Hopefully we go at least 3-1 though.
Yeah, I don't think this should not be a losing season. We'd have to lose against the Kings on the final night of the season. So, yeah, they did it, man. They've arrived at mediocre. Yeah. I will say, with Tom Dundon coming in, I feel better about, like, feeling good about getting the 8th seed and being 41-41 or 42-40. Compared to, like, under the old ownership group. Oh, they're going to use this as an excuse to give Tiago a 10-year contract. We'll talk about that in a second. But shout out Thybulle. Anything you wanted to add? Great game.
You pretty much covered it. Yeah, good game from him. And I'm just surprised he was able to play 31 minutes because a couple weeks ago it did not seem like he could play more than, like, 10 minutes without getting completely winded. So it's nice to see him catching or getting his stamina up.
Absolutely. One starter we didn't talk about, I just talked about the pass that he made, but Donovan Clingan, 22 minutes, 4 points, had 5 fouls, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. A lot of the fouls was him at the rim. I talked about the perimeter defense being better earlier in the show in terms of not fouling. He had 5 fouls. He had 5 of their 17 fouls. And I think all of them were shooting fouls because he's a rim protector naturally. They aren't really finding him like they were earlier in the month. Well, I guess it's April now. Wow, it's freaking April, dude.
Yeah.
Like they were in March.
Earlier in the month, like yesterday.
Yeah, you know.
They didn't play yesterday.
True, so they definitely didn't find him yesterday. Yeah, in March, I think there was a stretch there where he was scoring the ball a lot, and the Blazers were doing a good job, like, feeding him and getting him shots around the rim, and then, you know, he was knocking down threes and shooting the ball with confidence. But the last 2 games, dude. Last game he played 29 minutes, had 4 points. The last 4 games, he's not scored more than 6 points. Before that, you have to go all the way back to... Wow. How far back do you have to go? You have to go all the way back to December 31st was the last time before that he did not score more than 6 points. So he goes almost 3 whole months, every single game he's scoring more than 6 points. The last 4 games, he has 6 points, 6 points, 4 points, 4 points. It's a little bit alarming. I don't know how much of it is clinging. Now, some of it's, you know, he's 0 for 7 from 3 in that stretch. Like, you could call that a slump, but 7 threes is not a large sample. Right? It's not a large sample.
No.
So what do you make of that? Because it's very statistically weird. How much of that do you put on Kling, and how much of that do you put on, like, guys need to do a better job setting him up? How much of that is, like, defenses are accounting for him, and maybe it's a good thing?
Well, I thought he had... Because when he started playing a lot better this season, he was starting to look to attack the basket a little more when he got those offensive rebounds. And he had one today where he... I forgot who it was, but he went right into the body of someone, and they just cleared. I think it might have been Trey Murphy, cleared him out, and then just got an easy shot at the rim for one of his 2 baskets. So I kind of wish he would do that a little more. I don't know. It's hard because I don't want him camping around the 3-point line. I don't feel like he's taken that good of threes. He's not taking a lot, so thankfully it's not a high sample size or whatever, but I don't think he's like, there was one tonight where he kind of caught it and he had some room, but not a ton of room. Like, it wasn't like he was wide open or anything. And he hasn't really shot many of those type. They're usually just wide open. But yeah, I don't know. It's like Rob Will only had 6 points too tonight. But I think 2 of those baskets were lobbed. So
Yeah.
I don't know why they can't find Klingon more often. I do think he is getting more defensive attention in there. Same with Rob when they're in the game. I do think other teams are accounting for that, and the paint is a little more packed. And I do think that's why guys like Tamani and Thybulle are getting so many open 3-point shots.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that's part of it. But I don't know. I do feel like Klingon's... I mean, he's like really good in moments, but he's also had a few stretches in these last 2 games where, I don't know, he kind of just takes himself out of the game too. So just needs to do a better job of engaging the whole time he's in there, because he's a really freaking good player, and when he's engaged, he's a beast out there. But it does feel like he's kind of taking himself out. Like tonight, he got a couple of cheap fouls, and I don't know if the Blazers should have challenged the first one or not, but it seems like when he gets into foul trouble, it leads to him not being as aggressive sometimes. So hopefully he can find a way to not get a couple of cheap fouls early in games.
Yeah. I think he will be a riser in the playoffs. Just like he was a riser in the NCAA tournament at UConn.
Yeah.
And hopefully we get to see that this year. Like, he is crucial for this team. Still playing good defense. Like, that's the thing is if other guys can step up offensively, he's not a guy you need to score. It's just nice when he gives you offensive production. But, like, the short roll playmaking and stuff, I think next year when you have Dame, hopefully he's good enough where teams are just sending two above the level of the screen. Like, that's where Clean can thrive, you know. I think it's only up from here. I'm not worried about his production lately. It's just very strange. And I would like for them to find ways to kind of keep him rolling, keep him getting some shots on the interior, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. We talked about Thybulle. Rob Williams, yeah, not a big scoring game for him. The last 5 games, he doesn't have more than 6 points. I mean, he's not somebody that scores as much as Klingen does, but the game before that had 16. You know, he had a 20-point game the first game he played in March. So maybe a little bit of correlation there too.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Well.
Serviceable. I mean, serviceable game. I don't know. Robert Williams is always the hardest player for me to talk about. Like, he played some defense. He got some boards. You know, he made a couple of shots around the rim, caught a lob.
Yeah.
Good job,
Rob. I mean, that's what he does. Yeah.
Yeah. Very true to who he is pretty much every game. Okay, we got to talk about Chris Murray, dude. He had 3 blocks, okay? He had some good defensive moments. Last game, he had a great game, fill in the stat sheet. Couple nice drives. Today he drove me crazy. Like, I know he only shot 1 3 in 20 minutes. Dude, as I said earlier, a 27% three-point shooter should never shoot a transition 3 with 18 on the shot clock or 17 on the shot clock. You are literally a bad shooter who should not shoot unless you have to. Like, him in his three-point shooting is so freaking infuriating to me. The 2 games before this, he shot 9 threes in those 2 games. One game he was 1 for 5, one game he was 0 for 4. We're talking about a guy that he's under 27% right now. He was 26.8% his rookie year. He was 22.5% last year. He was 26.7% this year. In 183 games, shooting over 2 threes per game, he's 25.5% for his career. He is an awful shooter. He is somebody that should never shoot unless it's a late clock situation. We have enough of a sample size to say that. He shoots too many freaking threes.
Yeah. He should be banned. Like, we talk about having a green light, he should have a red light.
Like that play, he had a whole baseline drive where he could drove, gotten to the rim. You know, we've seen some nice moments of him as a finisher. Or drove, it was in transition, so the defense wasn't set. Collapse the defense to you, and you could probably kick it out to a better shooter for an open 3. Like, he has to be the guy that makes the right play. And there's a lot of times where he does make the right play. When he takes threes, a lot of times it's the wrong play. Like, it's the wrong play. And it's frustrating for a guy to be like, effort guy, hustle, you know, does little things. Is supposed to make the right play and then shoots as many threes as he does. And shoots a transition 3. Like, I can't get over that, dude.
Yeah.
Like, see, I was wondering when he shot that 3, like, Tom Dundon, like, okay, this guy's shoots 26.7% from 3, so he makes how many points per shot that he takes? Oh, like 0.779? Or like 0.81? Oh, that's very inefficient. Okay, why is he shooting threes then? You know? I mean, he's watched this team all throughout the year, I think, you know. Maybe not every game, but it's just baffling to me. Like, it's bad math. It's just straight up bad math. And that's one of those things where Tom Dundon's coming in and talking about higher standard and doing things better. Like, yeah, that's something that should be done better. He should not shoot threes. Sorry, I'm rambling, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean, he should get tired from how many times he cuts in a game.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, just cut every time. Every time your defender completely leaves you, like, cut into the open space and see if you can make a play. Like, Brad the Kid, this is a great point, dude. It's so funny to remember how hard people would rag on Mo and Chief for shooting like 35% from three. We would absolutely kill for City or Chris to shoot 35%, dude. Absolutely. Absolutely. Al-Farouq Aminu and his shooting got blamed for the Pelicans, ironically enough, Drew Holiday and the Pelicans sweeping the Portland Trail Blazers in 2018. Do you guys remember that narrative from 2018 from that sweep? Where Al-Farouq Aminu's shooting was the issue in that series. I hope some of you remember that narrative. It drove me absolutely insane. It was people's way of excusing Stotts running pick and roll into a trap all series long and not adjusting. Do you guys know what Al-Farouq Aminu shot from three in that series? Al-Farouq Aminu in that series in 4 games was 13 for 30, 43% from three, making over 3 a game. And the narrative was, oh, well, but they just left him wide open. Like, okay, if he's shooting 43% from three and they're leaving him wide open, okay, keep shooting. Keep shooting. But no, it's his fault. 43% is not good enough. Meanwhile, we got Chris Murray shooting 27% from three, and a lot of people like him. Okay, what happens when he gets into a playoff series? Like, that's actually a legitimate problem. So, anyway. One of my pet peeves from way back in the day was that.
Yeah. You've always done that.
Al-Farouq Aminu, for his playoff career, shot 39% from three. He had 4 series in a row where he shot above 40% from three. The series against Golden State in 2015, 2016, the second round, he was 16 for 29 from three, 55%. Chris Murray's never had a 16 for 29 stretch. He was 41% the series after, 43% in that New Orleans series, and then the first series of when we beat OKC in 5, he was 41%. Like, and people ragged on his shooting. I mean, it was high the whole time. He seemed like it, but I mean, I'll take it if it helps with big threes, Cool with that. But yeah, it's just very strange to me how those guys shooting was a major issue, and then like people don't seem to have much of an issue with Chris Murray shooting 5 threes in a game or 4 threes in a game when he's a 27%er. Anyway, Chris Murray rant over. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, but it's just I'm tired of like the bad math on shot selection and what's an efficient shot. It's something this coaching staff is not good about. Anyway, it's one play. Like, obviously, it didn't ruin the game, but it's in the playoffs. Yeah. Every possession matters. Everybody talks about every possession matters in the playoffs. You should not be wasting possessions with a 27% three-point shooter shooting transition threes. Anyway, watch. He'll shoot 50% like Al-Farouq Aminu in the playoffs.
Yeah, playoff riser.
Yeah. But that you're just getting lucky. You're getting lucky. Anyway. Like, yeah, he does some good things, but I don't know. In this game, Eric, he has 3 points. He's 1 for 2, 20 minutes. He has 2 turnovers, 1 assist. Like, got the ball just tipped from behind when he put it on the floor. Made a couple defensive plays, but, like, I don't know. Was that good enough? Were you satisfied with his performance in this game?
I mean, for him, it was fine, especially coming off a really good game. But yeah, obviously, he's not like a rotation player on a good team. So that's always the tough part.
Yeah. He's not. Like, if we had Grant, if we had Sharp, he and Sissoko should not play.
Mm-hmm.
Thybulle is the guy from that group that deserves the playing time. And final guy we get to talk about, speaking of another guy that should not be shooting threes unless it's at the very end of a shot clock. The one, the only, City Sissoko.
Yeah.
I want to look something up. Okay. In the last 2 months, so February and March, what do you think City Sissoko is shooting from three?
Feels like 15%.
Yeah, it's pretty close. I'll tell you what, it's worse than Chris Murray.
Nice.
It's worse than Chris Murray. He is shooting 24.1%. And that's including the start of February where he had a game where he's 3 for 7, 2 for 6, 1 for 2 from 3. If you just take it from the All-Star break, all right, it's even worse. Since the All-Star break, this guy is shooting 17% from 3.
Nice.
I don't know. What'd you think about? He's 0 for 2 from 3 today in 9 minutes. I don't know. What'd you think of his game?
I hate that. Like, one of them was like a contested one, and the other one was like a pump fake.
Yep.
One. Yeah. Another guy who should get tired from how many times he cuts in a game. But,
Yep. He's a better athlete than Chris Murray, too. Like,
yeah.
That's the thing, is the Blazers are a bad three-point shooting team, but they shoot a ton of threes. But having guys like this shoot too many threes is part of the reason why they're such a bad three-point shooting team percentage-wise. You got the wrong guys shooting threes.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Well, I mean, it's not like we have the right guys. We don't have a lot of the right guys. That's part of the problem.
Yeah, but it's just ridiculous. He didn't foul today in 9 minutes, so I guess that's some growth. But yeah, I feel like Dundon's looking at this team like, you guys are one of the worst three-point shooting teams, but you shoot a ton of them. Why is that the case? Like, that's not logical. So I don't know if they're. Hopefully they have a philosophy shift where it's not just acceptable for guys that are absolutely abysmal from three to shoot threes early in the clock.
Mm-hmm.
There needs to be a philosophy shift, and if you want to keep that philosophy, you need to get rid of those bad 3-point shooters.
Yeah.
So anyway, anything else you want to recap from this game, or do you want to get into the Tom Dundon conversation?
Let's move on to the Tom Dundon stuff.
Tom Dundon.
And Tom Dundon and Friends.
Is his name Thomas?
I don't know.
Is that where you were going with that?
I said Tom Dundon and Friends. I don't know.
Oh, you don't get the joke. Never mind. Anyway. Figured as a father you get that joke. I don't know.
Oh. Was that a Thomas the Train joke?
That was a Thomas the Train joke.
Just because his name is Tom?
Yeah, Tom and Friends. I asked if his real name was Thomas.
Okay.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. It is. There you go.
What do you think about the name?
Rip City Rising?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to sue. No, just kidding. I like it. I like Rising. I like rising, all right? You should always look to rise. You should never look to settle.
Yeah.
You should look to rise and be the cream of the crop. So I like it. Listen, there's a lot of people This is where I'm going to start this conversation. I'm going to start this conversation with just completely speaking my mind in a way that might upset a couple people. I don't know. But the whole Tom Dundon thing, I don't know if you've been paying attention to social media. There's people that are already upset with things he said to Jason Quick. You know, we went through that article last stream and like, oh, he's so bold and brash because he's setting high expectations. You know, like I am starting to get the feeling of, oh man, a large section of this fan base is not going to like this guy because he's not a nice softie.
Yep.
And having high standards in Blazerland is not what we're used to. So, you know, it's kind of mean to expect a lot out of people, you know. What are they supposed to do? We've heard excuse after excuse after excuse for mediocrity for years. For not being able to get things done, for not being able to improve, for not being able to freaking... You go into an offseason with Damian Lillard and you say, we need to get taller and we need to get more experienced. And then you have the third pick and you take a 6'3" point guard who's 19 years old and you turn around and say, he's not your normal 19-year-old, and that guy hasn't really panned out. You know? Like, and it was, oh, there's no trades that they can make with the third pick that do anything. What are they supposed to do? It takes two to make a trade. You know, just excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse. That's how this fan base thinks. You know, not over here because we try to hold it accountable, but it's why a lot of people don't like us. It's because we don't think that way. And Dundon doesn't think that way. Seems like a lot of people are already starting to dislike him.
Someone in the press conference live stream chat. Oh. I don't know who that was, Brendan.
In the chat?
Must have been on YouTube or something.
I'm sure there was a lot of people like, those guys freaking suck. They're not nice enough. They don't make enough excuses.
Yeah, see, I thought the same thing, Tori. It's like, and this was before the press conference. I was thinking, because there were so many people that were like so hung up on that article, like him saying in Portland or whatever, and like turning on him already.
When Quick was trying to provoke him.
Yeah.
Since when do Blazer fans take Jason Quick's side of things? That's a separate subject, but yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't really care about that kind of stuff, but here's the thing. This is exactly the way we've ran this channel and given our thoughts for years, and people, like you said, don't seem to like it when you take the approach of how can we get even better. Like some people, and this is totally fine. I'm not knocking these people if you're one of them, but it's not great to, like, we could be in a better position right now if we played better or made better roster moves or something, you know, did anything in last offseason. You know, you could have put the team in a position, if you're looking at it from a GM position, instead of getting suspended for tampering. But that's another topic. And then that was hilarious, by the way.
Somebody
Coach,
texted me, a Rockets fan texted me. I don't know if you guys know Brado on Twitter, but he texted me. He was like, "Dude, I'm sorry about the GM suspensions." I was like, thinking like, "Dude, it's funny. We are pure chaos over here. Our coach gets arrested by the FBI. Our GMs get suspended for tampering with a prospect that should have been a second rounder that we took at 16. We are just pure chaos and fun over here."
Yeah. So, I mean, I just think that, like, approach where you're, I mean, we even get this when we break down players and we try to, I mean, maybe I do this a little more than you, but, you know, like, I wouldn't call it harping on bad stuff, but like the bad stuff sticks out in my mind more than the good stuff sometimes. So I always like to give both the good and the bad when I'm talking about someone. But I mean, we've had this approach for 7 years of you can always improve, you can always get better, and a lot of this fan base just has the approach, well, we had injuries, it was fine. Like, Thiago did as good as he could do. Like, well, no, I mean, that's fine to think that way, but you can always get better, and you can always improve. And if you're not like that, then I have to question if you ever will have what it takes to be a contender if you don't constantly want to improve and you're not thinking like Dundon seems to be thinking. So I just think that's been a huge problem going back to the 2019 Western Conference Finals, where the Blazers were just kind of happy to have gotten that far, and ever since then the amount of times complacency has set in and the Blazers have been okay with whatever has happened, and fans have been okay with it too, and not ever expecting more, and getting mad at people like us for thinking it could be better than it is, and we don't have to accept mediocrity. It's just, I guess it's kind of cool to finally have an owner that thinks that same way. But
I love it.
So, and I get why that rubs a lot of people the wrong way, but I don't know how you can listen to that and think, I mean, maybe you think he's just full of crap or something, but yeah, I don't know how you can listen to him and think, oh, well, he's got a horrible attitude, that's not going to help us win a championship or whatever. Like, this is what we need to win a championship, that kind of attitude. And it has been needed from the top, and we'll inevitably get Jody won a championship with the Seahawks, right? And that's because we've talked about this before, but John Schneider has now built 2 Super Bowl rosters with completely different players, not one single player from the same team. So he obviously knows what he's doing and is a capable GM. And so he can be left alone, and he's going to run the franchise in the right way. Made a great coaching hire in Mike McDonald and all that. Meanwhile, the Blazers, you leave them alone and aren't really involved and just let them go. Your coach gets arrested, like you mentioned. Your GMs are illegally contacting Jan Hansen and getting suspended, and the organization's getting fined $100,000. And we are just now in his, I guess technically it's 4.5, but basically 5th season, are finally going to make a play-in, let alone the playoffs. And so, yeah, you can completely chalk it up to just the shift in mindset that seemingly is about to occur could have a huge rippling effect on this organization.
I feel better about this organization in the long term today than I've felt during the entire history of this channel. And we started this channel in 2019. I feel better today than I ever have since 2019. He's a no BS guy that wants to be great, wants his organization to be great, and has high standards, and has a track record of taking a sports franchise that was floundering and getting them to the top. Right? And you can put context behind it and say people under him. Well, he's in charge of the people that are under him. The excuses that have been made for so many situations with this organization and the way it's ran would not have flown under him.
Mm-hmm.
The Blazers have struggled with direction for such a long time. Under Neil Olshey, it was a major issue. Under Joe Cronin, I guess their direction was to be bad. That's the most they've kind of picked and committed fully to a direction was being bad. But they were also saying we're trying to be good, and they're talking out two sides of their face. It almost feels like that's what Blazer fans like. They would prefer Tom Dundon to be two-faced and sit here and be like, nah, even if there's no renovations, we're never going to relocate. I love Portland. I love this city. I've barely spent any time here in my life, but I love this city. I love it here. Because I literally saw people like, oh, this guy doesn't sound like he's connected to Portland. Like, this guy doesn't sound like he likes Portland a whole lot. Like, Portland's just another city to him. Like, no, duh, he's not from here. Like, I just feel like people are being so naive with this situation. Like, oh, man, he's not completely shutting down relocation talk if they don't get renovations. It's all about, oh, we just need renovations. He's leaving the door open if they don't get renovations to relocating. And then he doesn't sound like he loves Portland. Like, dude, I've literally been sitting here saying that's the situation for 2 months now. Like, they need to get renovations. If they get renovations, I don't think they're going to move. And if they don't get the renovations through, like, things could get a little bit scary. That's exactly what he's portraying. And I respect it. He's not lying to you. He's not BSing you. He's not afraid to be honest. And if people don't like him, he said, like, yeah, of course you think about what people think, but, it's not the most important thing. He said that in the press conference today. I respect that type of stuff. I don't respect two-faced, dishonest, saying one thing and then doing another, saying one thing when your intentions are pretty clearly different from what you're putting out there. And then everybody just says, oh, you just have to completely excuse it because it's just GM speak.
Well, I don't think he seems like the person that would say all this and then do the opposite. But I can see why people, including myself a little bit, I have to admit, I am kind of cautiously optimistic about what he said, just in terms of commitment to winning and all that kind of stuff. Because, I mean, I've just, over the past few years between Chauncey and Joe Cronin, have just been driven to the point where I can't fully trust someone until they prove that they're trustworthy. So
he has proven it. He proved it with the Hurricanes.
I know. That's why I'm cautiously optimistic instead of pessimistic about it. But man, he did say a lot of the right things. Yeah.
People were legitimately worried about he's wearing a Whalers hat at the Clippers game. They relocated way back in the day. He's hinting that the Blazers could relocate. I don't like that. Dude. Talk about overthinking the hell out of a situation just to have an issue.
I do think he was kind of lying a little bit during the press conference, and that's why I can't fully buy in.
What do you think he was lying about?
About like, oh, I've never even thought about relocating, stuff like that. Like, it just, I mean, obviously you that thought has had to have crossed your mind when you bought the team, like, at some point. Like, I mean, I know he's got to say he's not thinking about it, but like, I did. There was something else to it. I was like, there's no way you've never thought about that. And then there's a whole Chauncey thing. I know nothing about Chauncey. You already had agreed to buy the team at that point. Like, you wouldn't look into why your coach got arrested. Like, I don't necessarily believe him that he knows nothing about the Chauncey thing. He just didn't want to talk about it, I think, and that's fine.
Yeah, I think in terms of like, I haven't thought about it, I take that more as like they haven't put like collective ownership group thought into that as like a possibility to explore. Is how I took that. Like, because of course he's had to have thought, all right, if they don't get this through, like maybe that would be an option down the line. But that's not like productive thought into the possibility as like a feasible thing. And I believe him. Like, I believe Shield Tile. I think he's a great guy to have in this ownership group. I think if he was the governor, people would love him. I think people already are liking him more than they like Dundon. But yeah, that and then like the Chauncey thing, yeah, I do think that was like one thing where it's like, okay, yeah, no, he's not going to answer questions about that. So yeah, I didn't necessarily believe that. But as far as like the whole relocation thing, dude, like people are upset about the way he's talking about that, but I respect it. Like he's not shy away from the reality of it. And I just feel like a lot of people are too naive in terms of like, oh, they're never going to relocate. You know, they don't need to get the renovations put through. Like the NBA would never let them, blah, blah, blah. Like there's a lot of talk about like it's impossible. And I used to be one of those people, you know, like a year ago, that's kind of how I thought. But the more I looked into the situation, it's like, okay, they need these to put these renovations through, or else it could become something to legitimately worry about. And I think that's why you've seen the Oregon State government act so fast, because they've acted pretty fast on funding more than half of it already, putting the mechanisms in place to fund it. I don't think if they felt like it wasn't something to worry about, I feel like they would not have acted this fast. Maybe I'm wrong, but they acted quick. So, yeah, like that's the thing is like, okay, that's what this hinges on for people that didn't realize that. Now it's like, oh man, he's saying they need renovations and he's not, you know, oh, they won't relocate. They'll sign a lease if they get renovations. What happens if they don't now? You know, it feels like people are having that thought for the first time when they shouldn't be.
That was the other thing. He said he didn't like wasn't involved and didn't say a word during this the legislation for the renovations, where there was an article, I don't know if it was Orem or someone else, but someone said he personally went to the governor and other people and was very stern about needing to get some sort of thing. So I don't know what to believe there, but
yeah, he's talked to some people about the renovations. So yeah.
I don't believe that. He just bought the team without like talking to anyone.
My point in terms of like him being no BS is like he's not just saying things to make the fan base happy, which I respect. Like, yeah. You know, like because that's what we're used to is just like saying exactly what the fan base wants to hear. Cronin is a master of that.
Yeah, and I don't mean this in necessarily a disrespectful way, but I do see how people can think he seemed like kind of a jerk like at times. I don't know. I don't, like I said, I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing, but yeah.
I mean, depends on what you think is somebody being a jerk.
Yeah.
Like, if you think somebody demanding excellence is them being a jerk, absolutely. But I don't think of it that way. Wanting people to take pride in their job and do their job to the best of their ability. I don't have an issue with that. I don't have an issue with that. I think he's somebody that could maybe phrase things a little bit better, but he's not sitting there thinking of like the nicest way to put things so that people feel as best as they possibly can and like what he says.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not PR spun BS. Like he comes across as a bit more authentic. But also, we can't compare him to freaking Jody because we never heard Jody talk until she won the freaking Super Bowl, except for when they drafted a player and she was saying congratulations.
Yeah, but that wasn't like a press conference. That was just
like she never did a press conference. Like he immediately comes in, like does a press conference. Like I think he's gonna be one of those guys that will do press conferences and speak to the fans, and it won't just be PR spun BS. Like he'll be honest. I think we can do better, you know.
I'm not saying he watched Blazers Uprise, but it did feel like he had like spent this whole season thinking the same way we did about the team, you know, like why isn't this team playing better? And
why are they making the same mistakes in game 60 as they are in game 6?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Listen, if he does, hey Tom, can this organization finally accept a credential request from the biggest fan-made podcast? I see Mariners podcast, fan-made podcast, and they're like on the field on game day, like doing videos and stuff. And I'm just sitting here like, damn. Shoot, I work with people that had fan-made YouTube channels that went and got credentials covering NFL teams. Like, you know, I work at HMA. If you guys see any HMA thing, especially with this Prize Picks campaign, if you see that channel, that's a channel that we work with. So give them some love, you know, leave a like, that sort of thing. Give them some love. But you know, it's a bit frustrating. Like I've applied for credentials the last 2 years. 1 year, oh, we don't have space for you. This year, no response. Because we don't toe the company line. So, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to change, but we'll see. Hopefully. Mm-hmm. Hopefully. One day. That's the dream. That's the dream. Shout out to Muvsy. Speaking of dreaming, Muvsy. $20 Canadian donation says, good night, chat. Thank you, Muvsy, for the donation. Thank you, Mubsy, for the donation. Have some sweet dreams there up in Canada. Appreciate you. But yeah, I did kind of get that feeling. It's like some of the stuff he's saying is like exactly what I wanted an owner to say. Like the attitude I wanted him to have.
Yeah.
So, and guess what? If he comes in and turns this organization around and it becomes like the Carolina Hurricanes and contender every year, and like I will feel so freaking vindicated. You know, I will feel so freaking vindicated. Because dude, they're playing for a playoff spot. They're playing for the 8th seed tonight. Moda Center still felt freaking dead to me compared to what I got used to in the past. It's still not the same as it was. Even though we're having some success this year. It's sometimes when I go to games, it just feels like the soul got sucked out of the Moda Center when it comes to Blazer games. And I hate it. I hate it. Do you agree? Like, chat, Eric?
Yeah. I think a lot of that is just I think
it rarely sells out.
Yeah. I think that'll change. It's not going to happen overnight. I don't think a lot of people are excited about like a play-in and stuff. Like, I don't know. I mean, they probably should be after the last few years, but I mean, it's been really tough the last few years to be like not necessarily to be a fan, but just to be like super engaged and super cheery and just like be like really emotional about the team. Like there were points where like I'm a diehard fan, live and die with every game, and there were points where I was kind of about the team, you know.
I mean, but that was like in 2019, 2020 when they were basically fighting for the 8th seed. it was still better. Like, it was much better. Now they're coming off
Yeah, but they were
conference
coming
finals.
off the finals appearance, yeah.
But I mean, I think you can even go back to the 2 years they missed the playoffs in 2011 and 2012, and like the atmosphere was better. Now that's a long time ago. That's 14, 15
I don't
years
think it wasn't
ago.
2011, but yeah, 2012 was one of those seasons where everyone was hyped because Dame's rookie year was fun, but yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of like you start a rebuild, and now you're finally getting out of the rebuild, and you're competitive, fighting for an A seed for a playoff spot, and it's like the fan base is still in rebuild mode. It's just like it's kind of a bummer to me.
It's not like we're out of rebuilding. We didn't really. I mean, we got an all-star, I guess, but
It depends on how you define rebuild mode. I think we are because we're trying to win, and we are in position to make a playoff spot.
also I know Dame's back, but I know that whole situation rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
Yeah, we saw it. We saw it with a lot of our community. But that's the thing, is like the last 5 years has kind of, I don't know what's the word, but like the fan base is not the same after the last 5 years. And like, of course, it's a rebuild, yada, yada, yada. But kind of getting out of that now. They were literally in 8th.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's you look at ticket sales too. I mean, yeah, it's easy to look at this organization like, man, it has fallen on some hard times. Beyond just, oh, they're in rebuild mode and losing, so of course not as many fans are going to show up. So that's why I think this is the perfect time for somebody like Tom Dundon to come in to try and reinvigorate things.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
Dude, the thing that really also makes me feel this way is the loudest cheer I hear all game can be when we're down 20 because Young Hansen makes a layup.
Yeah.
People are more excited about that than they are about anything else, which is not good in my opinion. Like, we don't care that we're down 20. Young Hansen, he made a layup. Let's go. It drives me insane. So, I don't know. Chat, do you agree with everything I'm saying? Do you disagree? Let me know in the chat. I'm curious. I'm curious how many people feel this way. Like I said, you don't have to agree with how I feel. I don't. Like, it's literally just an opinion. It's not fact. Like, I mean, the ticket sales and stuff is a fact. But, like, how I feel about it is literally just how I feel about it. And that's what I talk about. Like, I speak my mind. So, ticket sales are pretty good this year. Are they? We're talking about the team that was like, we've sold out every game for 700 games. That used to be which wasn't necessarily true, but you know, they could lie about it. But I'll look it up. I am curious to see the number. The Blazers. This doesn't seem to be sorted right. The Blazers are 21st in attendance this year.
Is that percentage of seats filled or just?
No, it's just total. But the Moda Center has a decent sized capacity. The only team's worse. The Suns, the Nets, the Pelicans, the Hawks, the Bucks, the Pacers, the Kings, the Wizards, the Grizzlies. But I'll search where their capacity ranks.
Well, usually on attendance numbers, there's a percentage of seats filled or whatever. That's
in terms of capacity, Moda Center is the 10th biggest. Yeah, I think any way you slice it, it's, borderline bottom 10 in attendance for a team that's in 8th. So, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, thoughts on anything else that Dundon said today? Oh, the big splash. We got to talk about the big splash.
Gotta read that message.
Where at? Where was it? Oh, shout out to Tristan. Member for 25 months says, what do you think the big splash move was? Apparently, the Blazers were looking at a big splash at the trade deadline. And Dundon said, now he's in charge. They would be more inclined to make that big splash. I'm paraphrasing, but that's essentially what it was. Who was the big splash, Eric?
I do not think it was Giannis, but so I was told I wasn't allowed to say anything at the time, but I was told back at the trade deadline that the Blazers were involved in a multiple team trade that was a pretty big move, that one of the teams backed out on or close to trade deadline day, and the thought was that all the teams involved were okay with it being revisited in the off season. No idea what player that was, but him saying that was like, oh, okay, so there was something on the table. So it was not the Blazers that decided. It wasn't Jody or whatever that told them no. It was another team that I guess backed out of that trade after the parameters of it had been agreed upon by multiple teams. Yeah.
Do you think it was Giannis related?
I do not. I just said that at the beginning. I do not think it was Giannis.
Well, it could have been the big splash for the Blazers would have been Giannis. It would have been part of that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it could have been another team getting Giannis. I don't know. I felt like after the trade deadline that the Bucks never really seriously talked to anyone about Giannis. So
like, what's your guess? What's your guess then as to who the piece for the Blazers would have been, or like what the trade would have been centered around? People keep saying Kuminga. I don't think it's that at all. That's not big.
Yeah. I don't think it was Kuminga. I mean, Marcia's Anthony Davis. I'm just guessing. Like anything I say is a guess. That's all I was told was that the Blazers, and I chalked it up at the time of like, yeah, right. That's what Cronin always says, right? like he's always talking about how I was this close. We were super close. But this summer we're gonna go to super win now. We've planted those seeds.
Well, now we got a fresh slate. We'll see if those words are actually backed up. Well, the thing is with Anthony Davis, that can't be revisited.
He's still got another year, doesn't he?
Yeah, but I mean, like, so the trade, so a team backed out, so it didn't happen. But Anthony Davis did get traded, so it wouldn't be something that I think would be revisited this offseason.
No, I'm saying, well, he got traded weeks before the deadline, so that we could have been traded. The Wizards could have been retrading.
How long? I don't remember the timeline on it, but
the Trae Young trade was in January.
Trey Murphy, maybe. Is that a big splash to Dundon though? Trey Murphy.
I don't know.
Is this gonna go the way of like the Blazers were too aggressive?
Yeah, see, that's the only thing I'm kind of worried about is that like we're gonna over.
But it'd be nice for a change. It'd be something different. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I have no idea. I was thinking like Jaren Jackson Jr. Maybe the Blazers were in on him.
I was told this after the deadline that the players involved didn't get traded and that it could still be revisited, or the teams agreed to come back to the table in the offseason. I don't know if that'll still happen. Yeah.
I mean, I would assume it's for a front court player. Maybe it was for a shooting guard, though.
Oh, AD was traded the day before the deadline? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think it was that long. Oh, MPJ? Oh, God. No. No. Not him.
Embiid. What did you say?
MPJ.
Oh,
No. No, thank you.
MPJ.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it could be a team with a surprising player where it's like they're looking at their future cap situation and looking to move off somebody that, even though they're a winning team, because they're trying to like clean up something with their books.
Could it have been Bam before he? Now he's scored 83 points and.
Yeah, could have been Karl Anthony Towns.
Maybe. It'd be so weird to have them be so focused on defensive-oriented players and then go the complete opposite direction.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
But I also, I think Kawhi would qualify, but...
Yeah, I think Kawhi is possibly also...
But, I don't think Tom Dundon would say in a press conference that it would have been a splash move for Tyler Hero or Cam Johnson or Michael Porter Jr. I think it would. Karl Anthony Towns maybe. Just because New York and all that stuff.
That caliber of player better. Jerry Jackson Jr. is the very bottom of what I think could be considered a splash move. I think it could have been Kawhi, given what they did at the deadline. That would be my best guess is Kawhi.
But I just wonder how the whole investigation, which we still don't know, the end result of I don't know.
And that's maybe why
anything that super.
Maybe the trade
Maybe
was
they're waiting until the offseason to see what happens with that. Yeah,
exactly. The trade might have been kind of based around what's going on with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's my best guess, for sure. My second best guess is Giannis.
Yeah. What could have been us getting someone like Alex mentioned earlier, maybe the Cavs were trading for Giannis and we'd get Mobley or someone like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Some related to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because revisiting it in the offseason, it's very, very likely the Giannis stuff gets revisited in the offseason. With the way the Clippers are trying to get younger, my gut feeling says it was something to do with Kawhi. Which is kind of weird because the Blazers already have too many injury issues. But, would have been a splash move that maybe you wouldn't have had to give the Bucks picks for him. Yeah. Sharp can play with Mathurin. That'd be funny. Anyway. It is midnight, so we're going to wrap up the show. We're going to be live again on Monday. We don't have a Sunday stream. We don't have any streams this weekend, man. So hopefully you guys have a good weekend. We'll catch you again on Monday. We'll see what the Clippers do before then. Anything else?
So weird with a week left in the season, but I'll take it, right?
Yeah, I'll take it. Absolutely. Very strange. But thank you guys for watching. Leave a like on your way out here. Easiest way to support the channel. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure that bell button is on. Make sure you're in our Discord. We tag everybody there when we do anything. So you can join with the link in the description box below for that. Also check out the link in the description box below for our sponsor Prize Picks. Use code HMA. New users get $50 in lineups when you play just $5. Shout out to them for sponsoring the stream. We are out of here. The Blazers win. The Blazers are in 8th again. The Blazers are multiple games above 500. Multiple. I mean, it's only 2, but it's still multiple, technically. We'll see if they can continue their pursuit for this 8th seed, man. What a journey this season has been. Thank you, guys. We're out of here. Blazers win. The Dundon era is 2-0. And we're out of here. Until next time, as always, peace out. Go Blazers!